So, just a couple hours ago, Damian Lillard reportedly requested a trade from Portland. And when I saw it, I was actually just coming back from my road trip and I'm back to where I am. So, expect a lot more videos to come. But personally, I thought, like, where would he go? But I wasn't very mad at him because I'm sure all of us would agree that Dame has probably been the most loyal player. Maybe you can say Bradley Beal to his organization, and they just haven't done enough to make a good team for Damian Lillard. And I wasn't very surprised. I mean, I think that a lot of people agree that this is the correct decision for him. But a couple hours later, there was a media report or media interview with Dame, and he said that those rumors are not true. Now, it was on ESPN, and I was scrolling through the comment sections, and I found it really interesting that, so we just said that, like, one, this is not true, and two, but I'm not exactly sure. I haven't, like, made an affirmed decision to where I want to go. And this is not really interesting. Now, the first thing you would see is like, oh, those are not true. But if you look at the comment section, they say, like, nobody believes Dame, which, okay, their reasons are that, one, Anthony Davis and Carmelo Anthony said that before when they were in trade rumors, and they still ended up being traded. Second, it's like, I'm not exactly sure, but I think I can't agree with these. I mean, there's no one else you want to hear the news from the person himself. And just because I think just Dame's just so different, especially in a different situation from, like, the Pelicans with AD. At least the Blazers are a playoff team, though they're not, of course, a championship team, which he wants. But, like, even that, okay, I'm not exactly sure about that Nuggets team. That was like 11 years ago or something. I'm not exactly sure if they were in the playoffs that year with Carmelo, but this team is different and it's really interesting. So I like to say that this is unscripted. I'm just talking off the top of my head. And yeah, so remember, be on the lookout for more videos. A new episode of Hot Sauce Takes will drop very soon. I'll put the the community post in a couple days. A video about Will Chamberlain and a video about the disrespect that Colin Sexton and Ben Simmons and some other NBA players are getting. But let's get back to this. So, Dame, should he request a trade? It's tough to say. Personally, I would wait 1 year because the thing is that this Blazers team, yes, they don't have many young assets, but they can change it up. They can trade CJ McCollum and Yusuf Nurkic to get a fresh scenery alongside Dame and hopefully get more defenders. They have basically most of their picks. They don't have this year's pick, but besides that, they have all their picks, which I think they can definitely make a blockbuster move. They have Anthony Simons. Now, maybe you would have kept Gary Trent, not traded for Norman Powell, but I still think that this team can make some changes. Now, I know the Chauncey Billups hiring was, like, a lot of people didn't like it, and I'm not really going to talk about that, but I think it's okay. I mean, he's still an amazing mind. But just talking about the players, they need to make a trade. And just this management hasn't really done the best. Like, if you think of, like, the Golden State Warriors and their management with Stephen Curry, they signed Kevin Durant, they signed Iggy, they drafted Draymond, they drafted Clay, Harrison Barnes. But this Blazers team, hasn't done that. They've drafted CJ, they traded for Nurkic, but besides that, they've tried to get defenders for him, but just with that small backcourt of CJ and Dame, who are like 6'3", I think CJ 6'5", 6'3", that just can't work unless you have, like, a Rudy Gobert in the middle who pair up really well with the Jazz, two smaller guards, but they don't have that. Yusuf Nurkic, after breaking his leg, snapping his leg, he hasn't been the same. Rocco and Derek Jones Jr., they try to get defenders for him, but it didn't really work. So should he request a trade? I personally would have waited 1 more year. You have to see, because they still have they can make a lot of changes that I think they would move if they know that, like, Dame is going to request a trade. Now, I don't know if you guys are football fans. I don't follow football that much, but I've seen like some reports that I think his name is Russell Wilson, and he apparently like requested a trade to get. Okay, I don't know many positions in football, but I think his offensive line, the thing that protects the quarterback there, are really awful. And then Russell Wilson requested a trade. Oh, he requested trade, or I think he said like I would be fine with these 5 teams, and they got him those people that he needed. I think that Dame may do something similar. It's similar to what Giannis did last season, where he had that the pressure of the organization was felt because Giannis was a free agent, and they traded for Drew Holiday. Now they're in the finals, so I think it's good that he's putting pressure on the team, which I think is good. Now, if he does get traded, what are some options? So, of course, you have, I think the best offer is pretty, I would say the Sixers. You have Ben Simmons, probably Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, or Seth Curry or Matisse Thybulle. I would personally get Seth Curry because you're building a team around Ben Simmons if the Blazers trade for him. And Seth's shooting would really hope to pair up with Ben with, of course, not being able to shoot. And I just think this package is really good. I mean, maybe Ben Simmons can't be the best player in a championship. You may believe that, and that might be true, but he definitely has the talent if he's built around right. But if they get Ben, they probably have to trade Nurkic. But maybe they run Ben at the 5. Maybe it's an interesting idea because then he won't have to shoot threes. He would be such a different 5, but just an interesting idea. And there's teams like the Lakers, which Lakers have an awful package. Even as a Laker fan, I can admit that. I mean, who wants Kyle Kuzma? I mean, they have to sign and trade Dennis Schroeder. I don't know if Dennis Schroeder wants to go to the Blazers, and same as Montrezl Harrell. And then maybe Talon or Tucker. I don't know if he wants to go there too. And just they have 2 first-round picks too, which is barely anything. And then one of the most interesting ones has to be the New York Knicks. Now, they don't have the best package, but they have so many firsts. They have a package of RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin. I guess those are the main assets. And then they have their 2 firsts in this draft, all of their first, and I think a Clipper swap. And that's a lot of picks. Now, the thing is that I don't know if those picks are going to be good, especially if they have Damian Lillard and Julius Randle, and they can still most likely sign another big name free agent. But it's just interesting. Now, okay. Is Damian Lillard requesting the trade? Okay, let me think about this. So looking at another package, I've seen this one a lot, and I actually like it a lot. It's the New Orleans Pelicans to pair up Dame and Zion. And there's probably a package around, let's see, it's Brandon Ingram, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, probably Kyra Lewis, and like 7 first-round picks, all of the Lakers, Bucks, and maybe the 10th pick in the draft. And that would be so fun to watch Dame and Zion. Oh man, that would be so good. They'd probably lose Lonzo though. I mean, that would help their defense a lot. I would bring back Lonzo because he's a good off-ball. He can help Dame just not do everything. Now maybe, I think that's a really interesting idea, just Zion's interior with Dame's just perimeter game. I think that would mesh perfectly. Now you would want some defense with that. Maybe you get like a stretch big, like a Miles Turner. I don't know if they have the assets anymore, but I think that's a really interesting offer. And then another one is the Denver Nuggets. Dame, Jokic, and potentially Michael Porter Jr. too. That would be nasty, but just the package isn't too good. It's Jamal Murray, who most likely will miss quite a bit of next season. Bol, yeah, he has a lot of potential, but he hasn't showed it yet. Zeke Naji, another player, potential, but hasn't showed it, hasn't got many minutes. And they don't have that many firsts. They traded their pick for one of their picks for RJ Hampton, and I think they only can give up the 2025 and a couple swaps. I'm not exactly sure. I think you have to do more. Now, it's interesting, like, Dame, MPJ, and Jokic. I mean, maybe the defense would be bad, but that offense would be nasty. And I would love to see that. So, are these Damian Lillard rumors true? I would say no. I personally don't think. I think that Dame is just so loyal to the soil. I think that if it's another like disappointing exit, then in the next season I think he's gone. And I think another reason why this reason why it sparked is him playing for Team USA. Now it's kind of interesting because Dame has been playing with all the good players now: Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal. I know he left. Zach LaVine. But then he sees like Kevin as James and Kyrie, like Jason as Jaylen Brown, and he has CJ McCollum, which is nowhere near as the help that other stars need. And I think that he would be, I mean, he of course wants to stay in Portland. He wants to be that next Dirk, and nobody will fault him if he wants to request a trade, but it would be most likely best for his career to get a ring. And I would really like it. I mean, I don't think Blazers fans can be mad at all, because I think they should be happy for how he has just, I would love to see Dame get a chip. I think they would be happy to see him in a better situation, because he's potentially their best player all time. Him and Clyde Drexler, pretty close. But I still think that Damian Lillard, I think he got 1 year left, maybe one left year, but this Blazers team needs to make some moves, or I'm pretty confident Damian Lillard is out. So that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the videos, subscribe to the channel if you're new. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming up, and I'll see you next time.